Welcome back to the channel. All right, I need to start this off by saying, like, I did not want to make this video. I didn't want to make it because I actually wanted to use this time set to stream and hang out and just play the game and head into the weekend. But then I got to see the patch notes, and like, this is just so easily avoidable. I want to be abundantly clear. I don't think any of this is done with underhanded or ill intention. I think this seems like probably a pretty clear level of Department A not speaking with Department B and not checking with the scheduling of Department C, and it just went out. But yet this is something that's just so easily avoidable. And a lot of this, yeah, is advice to Kabam. You know, we've done so much of this weekend and this week, and that's part of why, like, I don't want to be sitting here making this video, but I do think, given the way this week has gone, it's important that I do. And, you know, we've got the whole set of patch notes here. Honestly, much of this is covered in the live stream and also the video I did on the live stream. The live streams have been phenomenal lately. I think I did a really nice job of doing a synopsis on it and providing the highlights and the big picture stuff for you all and the things that I'm genuinely very excited about. But then we get to the bug fixes and improvements. And just completely being fair, there's stuff here that are pro player. There are multiple things that are pro player. I think to go into the nitty gritty and find the analysis on the percentiles of them would be incredibly misleading in result because it's such a small sample size. But I think it's important to acknowledge that there's pro player stuff here. And then there's stuff that we would probably consider like against the player or whatever you want to call it, making defensive kit stronger, not offensive. And again, not going to hide the ball on any of this stuff. There's something on Serpent. It's his offensive use, okay? Only offensive. So people enjoy playing Serpent. We'll get to use him a little more effectively, let's call it, on offense. But then we get down to the bottom. And it just like casually says, fix an issue with Kingpin's reducing ability accuracy by more than 65% with multiple stacks of his Black ISO degen. And, you know, I saw that, and I'm someone who used to, I love Kingpin. There was a period of time where I called him like the new best skill champion. I meant it, especially with his synergies. He's insanely powerful. He's at the moment locked as a 6-star. And so I don't think we're seeing him used as much. The skill class has grown quite a bit. But, and I'm going to bring this up. I went to, you know, his spotlight page, and you can see his buff went live February 1 of 2024. It is now late August. It's essentially September, basically September 2024. That's over 3.5 years. Now, I haven't tested this every single day of every single month over the course of 3.5 years, but I have played him enough that I'm aware that you used to be able to stack this up, and that ability accuracy reduction obviously got higher. And it's confirmed that it was higher by this. They wouldn't need to fix it if it hadn't. And it's the period of time in which this went. Is this make Kingpin a bad champion? No. If he came as a 7-star, I think he'd be insanely powerful. I'm still kind of leaving him on the, like, I'd be shocked if he came out as a 7-star anytime soon. So he's still very good. He's still shutting down ability accuracy. And you're like, okay, so why are you making this video? Get to the point. Well, I think you needed to know the full setup, and you need to know the whole thing is, this is so easily avoidable. At some point, someone made this decision. And I'm just going to flat say that I, one, disagree with it. And here's something that I hope Kabam takes into account more frequently and more often if and when these things come up, because they do sometimes come up, especially if a period of time has gone by where the champion has been being utilized this way. And the community in general knows. Multiple people on my Discord server were aware of this. And everyone, not everyone, it's not, you know, everyone's not like uniform here, but the vast majority of people are like, he's still great. 65% is still more than magnetism. All those things. No one's now saying he's now crap. What it was clear is that there's a multitude of players that are aware that basically since buff, or at least for a very long time, he has functioned a different way. And in a game where I'm frequently talking about, like, literally, that's what, like, a large portion of what my Serpent video was about. It's fine to push the players. We want a challenge. You need to progress the game. I completely get that. But you want to also avoid making too many of us feel coerced. You want to avoid these feelings. And sometimes that's not going to line up with the letter of the law or the, like, pure facts of it. Literally, when I read Kingpin's SP1 definition, it's pretty clear. It's relatively clear. I think the reasonable reading could go either way, but it's more likely than not that this is not intended to stack, especially when you look at some of the developer note that's at the beginning. And additionally, as someone who's played him frequently, I have to recognize and realize that the opponent's attack rating clearly never went to 100%. So something was askew. I asked people if this had been on the Trello board. No one has seen that. If any of this changes, I will put it in the description because I do want to be accurate with this all. So it'll be in the description or in the pinned comment. But what I'm saying to Kabam is, you know, I trust the balance team. I trust these things. I've gave my warnings on Serpent. But I'm not the only person, right? I think that's obvious. And there is a whole multitude of a player base out there. And you need and want enough of them to be trusting you, to feel good about it, to feel like the hand that is guiding this game has fun in mind and as a top priority. And a champion that's been existing the same way for 3.5 years or over 3.5 years to out of nowhere, and this is out of nowhere. If you are in the player's shoes, this is quite literally or figuratively to the statement, out of nowhere. I was shocked when I read it. Absolutely shocked. Now, I know things change and develop and all that stuff. And so when you said this may no longer be the company, I get all of that. But it's really important that you also are aware of that and you think about constantly, how are we communicating to the players? Like I said, I still trust Kabam. I definitely trust the balance team. I think this was probably much more likely Department A, not communicated, and like all of that stuff. But ultimately, this decision got made. This is the Kingpin that we're now going to have. Is Kingpin still good? Absolutely. But when something's lasted for an extended period of time and the players have started to rely on it, and that is how they've been using the champion, I would set the bar significantly higher for making a change. That bar needs to be like, is it absolutely necessary for us to make this change? Because this change, especially out of nowhere from the player's perspective, is going to be jarring. It is going to be abrupt. And it is the sort of very small thing that will slowly but surely erode player confidence. You don't want that happening. Like I said, I didn't want to be making this video. I'm going to put it out. I'm even still debating, like, do I even put it out? But I think it's important, given the way this week has been, that I put it out. I mean what I say. I'm going to be fair. I'm not worried about winning popularity contests. I respect people who disagree with me in respectful ways. This is my thought on it. When these sorts of things come up, Kabam, you gotta treat them differently. You've got to have an extremely high bar to make this change. You know, maybe we'll find out in a couple months, or maybe somehow I'll find out. You know, it'll become abundantly clear that this was necessary, that you're like, it was clear and necessary for the game to continue functioning in a balanced way. At the moment, playing the game, it's very difficult to believe that. And this feels like it hit probably a significantly lower bar of, is that the way he's supposed to be functioning? And if that's the case, I'm urging you to take into account, how long has this existed? And have the player base started to rely on it? Are they aware of it? Have they started to rely on it? And also, how much warning are we giving them? Because it does start to affect even reasonable players' perceptions. As usual, let me know what you think we got right. Let me know what you think we got wrong. I'm tired. It's been a long, fun, but long week here covering MCoC. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.